There is hate, and then there is something far darker. We often confuse contempt, jealousy, or bitterness as the peak of emotional aggression. But there's a critical line where hate no longer seeks just your failure, it seeks your elimination. This script isn't about enemies you argue with or rivals who talk behind your back. It's about those who have moved beyond hatred into a realm the Stoics feared: obsession, destruction, annihilation. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the greatest enemy isn't the one with a sword, it's the one with silence, patience, and a motive. The one who smiles in front of you while digging a hole behind you. As Epictetus once warned, it is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. But what if someone is deliberately trying to manipulate your opinions, your image, and your future? This video explores the 5 chilling signs that a person doesn't just hate you, they may want you gone, completely. Maybe not with weapons, but with rumors, sabotage, and calculated malice. We'll explore this through the lens of Stoicism, philosophy forged in chaos, tested in courts, and perfected in exile. Secret sabotage, the whispering blade. Hatred vents, destruction whispers. The first and clearest sign someone wants you gone is that they sabotage you in secret. These are not emotional outbursts or confrontations. These are cold, deliberate acts behind your back. The deleted email, the poisoned relationship, the subtle lies spread when you're not there to defend yourself. A Stoic like Marcus Aurelius would have considered this the work of an irrational soul. In his Meditations he wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." But when someone wants you out of the picture, they will always try to make you like them, filled with paranoia, anger, and mistrust. They know what they're doing. They exploit your silence and use your virtues against you. Think of the political world of Seneca's Rome. Enemies didn't stab in broad daylight. They wrote letters, spread rumors, and plotted for years. If you notice patterns, opportunities lost mysteriously, relationships strained without explanation, your name twisted in conversations, you're not imagining things. The person behind this wants to erase you without touching you. And if they succeed, no one will ever know they did it. You'll also notice they operate with surgical precision. They never create messes with their own hands. They convince others to do the work. They poison the well and let others drink from it, all while keeping their hands clean. This level of manipulation isn't fueled by momentary anger. It's a cold, long-term strategy to erase your influence and crush your spirit. They may also plant seeds of doubt within your own mind. You begin questioning yourself. You begin isolating yourself preemptively, believing it's your fault. That's the brilliance and the cruelty of the whispering blade. It doesn't cut with force. It erodes with suggestion. Identity theft, the psychological displacement. Here's a more psychological and perhaps terrifying sign. The person starts mimicking you. They imitate your style, your thoughts, your social circles. At first it feels like flattery, maybe even coincidence, but slowly they begin to replace you in your own space. This is not admiration. It's strategic identity theft. In Stoic terms, this is someone trying to occupy your role in the cosmos, to become you, so you are no longer needed. In Epictetus's discourses, he talks about the concept of prohairesis, your moral purpose, your essential self. If someone tries to co-opt that, to wear your skin metaphorically, they are doing more than copying, they are erasing. These people are dangerous not because they want what you have, but because they believe you are an obstacle to what they want. The next time someone begins sounding like you, dressing like you, talking to the same people, and echoing your ideas, pause. This might not be inspiration, it might be invasion. What makes this even more insidious is the mask they wear. They will often present themselves as your biggest supporter in public. They will praise your work, share your quotes, and laugh at your jokes. But all the while, they are studying you like a predator studies its prey. And once the time is right, they pounce, not with force, but with quiet substitution. And when the crowd cheers them for what was once your voice, you'll feel the silence echo louder than any applause. Because your absence won't even be noticed, it will be filled with your own reflection, worn by another. Isolation, the quiet execution. Destruction is easiest when no one is watching. The third sign is isolation, not physical but social and emotional. The person begins pulling others away from you. They create distance between you and your support system. This isn't accidental, it's surgical. Seneca wrote, "A sword never kills anybody. It is a tool in the killer's hand." In this case, the killer's tool is rumor, suggestion, and social engineering. They imply you're unstable, hard to work with, problematic. They never make bold accusations, they plant doubts, then let them grow. Over time, people start calling you less. They stop inviting you. You become difficult without having done anything, and that's the point. You've been removed from the board without a move being made in the open. This isolation is often the final step before direct attack. Because once you're alone, you're defenseless. Stoicism doesn't teach us to be paranoid, it teaches us to be observant. The Stoic must ask, is this retreat of others natural, or is it being orchestrated? When people disappear around you like falling dominoes, trace back to the hand that tipped the first one. This kind of isolation is psychological warfare. You doubt your worth, your voice lowers, your confidence bleeds, and in the quiet, they strike, not with the scream but with a whisper. Credit theft, disappearing in plain sight. Another sign you're being eliminated isn't that your work is criticized, it's that your work is stolen. Slowly, pieces of your effort, your thought, your achievements are being claimed by someone else. Publicly, they might praise you. Privately, they reshape your accomplishments as their own. The Stoics believed the only true possession we have is our virtue, our internal compass. But in today's world, reputation is currency. And when someone begins siphoning your light to shine themselves, they're not just competing, they're erasing you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors." But even he knew that in the Roman court, image could mean survival. If someone else becomes you in the eyes of your allies, mentors, or superiors, your relevance fades. Watch for the colleague who always knows what you're working on but contributes nothing. The friend who mysteriously echoes your ideas in public spaces without credit. The person who stands taller only when you're not in the room. These are not coincidences, these are attacks masked as admiration. This is often accompanied by a campaign of subtle undermining. They might mention your flaws to others under the guise of concern. He's brilliant, but a bit unstable. She's talented, but not a team player. In Stoic terms, they are defacing your moral statue with small scratches, enough that others stop seeing your brilliance. And when they win awards for your ideas, When they're applauded with your voice, remember this isn't flattery. It's erasure, not with fire, but with fog. Indifference to your pain, the cruel smile. Finally, and perhaps the most unsettling sign, is their silence in your pain. When things go wrong for you, when you hit rock bottom, they don't show concern, they show indifference or even subtle satisfaction. You'll notice it in their eyes, in the corners of their smile, in the way they avoid asking if you're okay. To them, your suffering is not unfortunate, it's useful. It's the fulfillment of their quiet campaign. Stoic wisdom tells us to suffer well, but it also warns us to recognize those who weaponize our suffering. In Letters to Lucilius, Seneca says, "Misfortune is virtue's opportunity, but for some, your misfortune is their opening. They won't strike while you're strong. They'll wait until you're weak." Pay attention. Real enemies aren't always loud. They're often calm, composed, even supportive until your house is burning. Then they watch, and sometimes they smile. They may say nothing, but their eyes say everything. And their silence is not neutral. It is a form of participation, a kind of mental violence. When someone is truly indifferent to your suffering, they have already erased your humanity in their minds, and what's left is just a target. How a Stoic responds: stillness over striking. So what do we do with this knowledge? How does a Stoic respond to someone who doesn't just hate you, but wants you gone? We remember the core Stoic truth. We control our choices, not others. We must be strategic, not paranoid, calm, not naive. When someone seeks your destruction, the first instinct is revenge. But that's not Stoicism, that's impulse. Instead, we follow the Stoic way: silence, observation, withdrawal of trust, and unshakable self-mastery. You don't need to expose them. Time will. You don't need to destroy them. They are doing that to themselves. What you must do is guard your peace like a fortress. Marcus Aurelius endured betrayal after betrayal, but he never broke. Why? Because his virtue was his weapon, and his mind was his shield. You must do the same. And when all else fails, remember the ultimate Stoic revenge: to live well, to succeed despite the sabotage, to shine despite the shadows, to thrive not in spite of their hatred, but because their hatred sharpened you. The Stoic does not crumble under fire, he becomes fire. So ask yourself, is there someone in your life who fits these signs? Not just someone who dislikes you, but someone who would feel relief if you disappeared. Stoicism doesn't teach us to fear enemies, it teaches us to recognize them and rise above them. When they strike, respond with stillness. When they whisper, respond with clarity. And when they want you gone, stand so firm in your purpose that they vanish in your shadow. This is not about fear, it's about awareness. Not about vengeance, but virtue, and above all, this is about survival. The Stoic survives because they know themselves, they guard their energy, and they see through masks. Because in the end, those who truly seek your destruction aren't winning, they're showing you exactly who they are, and that knowledge is your freedom.